All right, welcome to our last module, where we're going to explore the alternative and creative solutions for getting transportation when traditional programs might not be available or don't fit your specific situation. This module is about thinking outside of the box and finding solutions that might not be obvious but can be incredibly effective. So what I want you to understand is that sometimes the best transportation solutions come from approaches that aren't technically car programs at all. They might be cooperative arrangements, creative financing solutions, or innovative community-based programs that solve your transportation needs in ways you hadn't considered. These alternatives often require more initiative and creativity on your part, but they can also offer more flexibility and faster solutions than traditional programs. And in some cases, they might actually be better long-term solutions than getting a free car from a charity program. The key is to think about transportation as a problem to be solved rather than focusing solely on car ownership. Sometimes the best solution involves getting access to a vehicle without actually owning it. Sometimes it involves creative partnerships or arrangements that work better for your specific situation. So let's explore some of these alternatives and how you can make them work for you. Car sharing and cooperative programs. Community car sharing programs. Car sharing might sound like something only available in big cities, but community-based car sharing programs are actually emerging in smaller communities across the country. These programs allow you to access vehicles when you need them without the costs and responsibilities of full ownership. Some communities have informal car sharing cooperatives where members contribute to maintain a shared vehicle or a small fleet of vehicles. Members can reserve time to use the cars for work, appointments, grocery shopping, or other needs. To find community car sharing programs, search online for Your City Car Sharing or Your Area Community Car Cooperative. Also, check with local community centers, churches, and nonprofit organizations. Many of these programs are organized through community groups. Some car sharing programs operate on a membership fee basis where you pay a monthly fee for access to vehicles when needed. Others work more like cooperatives where members contribute work or money to maintain the shared vehicles. What makes community car sharing particularly valuable is that it can provide reliable transportation without the full cost or burden of car ownership. So no insurance payments or maintenance costs or registration fees on your own. Cooperative vehicle ownership models. Another creative approach is cooperative vehicle ownership, where several families or individuals jointly purchase and maintain a vehicle. This approach works particularly well in neighborhoods or communities where people have similar transportation needs. For example, 3 or 4 families might pool their resources to buy a reliable used vehicle, then share the cost of insurance, maintenance, and repairs. Each family gets access to the car for specific days or times based on their needs and contribution. To organize cooperative ownership, you need to find other families or individuals in similar situations who are interested in sharing costs and responsibilities. Start by talking to neighbors, coworkers, or other people you meet through community organizations. The key to successful cooperative ownership is clear agreements about usage schedules, cost sharing, maintenance responsibilities, and what happens if someone wants to leave the arrangement. Ride-sharing cooperatives. In rural areas or communities with limited public transportation, some people organize ride-sharing cooperatives where community members provide transportation for each other on a scheduled or as-needed basis. These cooperatives might work like informal taxi services where members with cars provide rides to members who need transportation, with costs shared among all of the members. Or they might work more like carpools where people with similar routes and schedules share the transportation regularly. To find or organize ride-sharing cooperatives, check with community centers, churches, senior centers, and local bulletin boards. Facebook community groups can also be excellent places to organize and coordinate these arrangements. Some rural communities have formal volunteer driver programs where community members provide transportation for medical appointments, grocery shopping, and other essential needs. While these aren't typically for employment transportation, they can free up other resources that you can use for work-related transportation. Lease-to-own programs. Rent-to-own vehicle programs. Lease-to-own or rent-to-own vehicle programs allow you to get a car immediately with lower upfront costs than traditional purchasing while building towards eventual ownership. These programs can be particularly helpful if you have income but limited savings for down payments. Companies like Smart Buy Auto, Drive Time, and various local dealers offer rent-to-own programs where you make weekly or monthly payments that eventually result in ownership of the vehicle. The total cost is typically higher than traditional financing, but the accessibility can make it worthwhile for people who can't qualify for conventional loans. Before entering any rent-to-own agreement, make sure you understand the total cost, the payment schedule, what happens if you miss payments, and exactly when you'll own the vehicle. Some programs require you to make payments for a specific period, while others base the ownership on the total dollar amount paid. Also, make sure the vehicle comes with some kind of warranty or guarantee and that you're not responsible for major repairs during the rental period. Weekly payment options. Many rent-to-own programs offer weekly payment options, which can be easier to manage if your income varies or if you're paid weekly. Weekly payments of $50 to $100 might be more manageable than monthly payments of $200 to $400. Some programs also offer flexibility in payment timing. If you can't make a payment one week, you might be able to make it up the following week without losing the vehicle. The key with weekly payment programs is to make sure you can sustain the payments over the long term. Calculate the total annual cost and make sure it fits within your budget, including insurance, gas, and maintenance costs. Some programs also report your payments to credit bureaus, which means successful participation can help you actually build credit for future vehicle purchases. Bartering and trade programs. Skills exchange for vehicle repairs. If you have skills that others need, whether professional skills or practical abilities, you might be able to trade those skills for vehicle repairs or even for a vehicle itself. This approach requires creativity and networking, but it can provide excellent solutions. For example, if you have computer skills, you might be able to provide tech support or website work in exchange for car repairs. If you have cleaning, landscaping, or handyman skills, you might trade those services for automotive work. To find opportunities for skills trading, check community bulletin boards, Facebook groups, Craigslist skill exchange sections, and local networking groups. Also, consider approaching local mechanics directly to see if they need any services you can provide. Some communities have formal skill-sharing networks or time banks where members trade services using time or points rather than money. These systems can include automotive services and might provide access to car repairs or even vehicles. Community exchange programs. Many communities have exchange programs or free cycle networks where people give away items they no longer need. While cars aren't commonly given away through these networks, they do appear occasionally, and you can also find car parts, tools, and other automotive resources. Join local Facebook exchange groups, free cycle networks, and community sharing groups in your area. Set up alerts for automotive-related posts so you're notified when opportunities arise. Some communities also have mutual aid networks where community members help each other with various needs, including transportation. These networks often operate through social media groups or community organizations. Consider what you can contribute to these exchange networks. The more you participate by helping others, the more likely people are to help you when you have needs. Employer transportation programs. Transportation subsidies and assistance. Some employers provide transportation subsidies or assistance that goes beyond the traditional employee benefits. These might include gas vouchers, public transportation passes, ride-sharing credits, or even direct assistance with vehicle costs. Ask your Human Resources Department about any transportation assistance available to employees. Some companies provide these benefits to help with recruitment and retention, especially for those positions where transportation is challenging. Healthcare systems, in particular, sometimes provide transportation assistance for employees working night shifts or in locations with limited public transportation. Some employers also have partnerships with local transportation services that provide discounted rides for employees, or they might provide shuttle services from central locations to work sites. Employee vehicle programs. Certain employers, particularly in sales, delivery, or service industries, provide company vehicles that employees can use for both work and personal purposes. While these positions might not be your current job, they could represent opportunities to solve transportation challenges while advancing your career. Look for job opportunities that include company vehicles. Positions in pharmaceutical sales, home healthcare, delivery services, field service, or route-based work often include vehicle access. Some employers also have vehicle allowance programs where they provide monthly payments to employees who use their personal vehicles for work. These allowances can help offset the costs of vehicle ownership. Consider whether there are opportunities to transition into work that includes transportation benefits, even if it means changing jobs or career paths. Creative financing and purchasing strategies. Alternative lending options. Beyond traditional bank loans and dealer financing, there are alternative lending options that might work better for your situation. These include peer-to-peer lending, community loan funds, and specialized lenders that work with people who have credit challenges. Peer-to-peer lending platforms like Prosper or Lending Club allow individuals to borrow money from other individuals, sometimes at better rates or with more flexible terms than traditional lenders. Some communities have community development financial institutions, CDFIs, that specialize in lending to low-income individuals and families. These organizations often have more flexible criteria and may offer financial counseling along with the loans. Credit unions, particularly community development credit unions, often have special programs for members who need vehicle financing but don't qualify for traditional loans. Owner financing, where you make payments directly to the person selling the car rather than getting a loan from a bank, can be an excellent option for people with credit challenges or limited income documentation. Many private sellers are willing to consider owner financing, especially if they're having difficulty selling their vehicle through traditional means. This arrangement can benefit both parties. You get access to a vehicle without qualifying for traditional financing, and the seller gets a steady income stream from the payments. When pursuing owner financing, make sure all agreements are in writing, including the monthly payment amounts, schedules, interest rates, and what happens if you miss payments. Also, make sure the title transfer process is clearly defined. Some used car lots also offer in-house financing where they finance the purchase themselves rather than working with banks or finance companies. These arrangements often have higher interest rates but may be more accessible if you have credit challenges. Look for "We Finance Everyone" or guaranteed approval advertisements, but make sure you understand all the terms before committing to any financing agreement. You can usually benefit greatly with these types of offers by having a friend or a financial professional review them so that you understand exactly what your total cost to ownership is going to be. Wrap up and action steps. Alternative and creative solutions can provide excellent transportation options that might work better than traditional car assistance programs for your specific situation. These approaches often require more initiative and creativity, but they can also offer more flexibility and faster solutions. Here's your action plan after this module. First, research car sharing and cooperative programs in your area. Check with community centers, churches, and local Facebook groups to see if any sharing arrangements exist or can be organized. Second, investigate lease-to-own and rent-to-own programs if you have steady income but limited savings. Compare multiple programs and make sure you understand all the terms before committing. Third, consider what skills or services you might be able to trade for vehicle repairs or transportation assistance. Join local skill-sharing networks and exchange groups. Fourth, talk to your employer about any transportation assistance programs or benefits available to employees. Also consider whether there are job opportunities that include access to a vehicle. Fifth, explore alternative financing options, including credit unions, peer-to-peer lending, and owner financing arrangements. Remember, the goal is solving your transportation challenges, not necessarily owning a car through a traditional charity program. Sometimes creative solutions work better and provide more long-term stability. So, congratulations on completing this comprehensive course on getting free and affordable cars for low-income families. You now have knowledge about dozens of different programs, strategies for finding and applying to them, skills for evaluating vehicle offers, and plans for long-term success. But more than just information, you have a roadmap for transforming one of the biggest barriers to economic mobility: lack of reliable transportation. The programs exist, the resources are available, and people want to help families like yours succeed. More importantly, remember that receiving help is not something to be ashamed of. It's an investment in your family's future and your community's strength. When you succeed, you create opportunities to help others facing similar challenges. The families who are most successful with these programs don't just solve their immediate transportation problems, they're using the opportunity to build better lives and stronger communities. That's exactly what you're capable of. The transportation challenges don't define you, but how you address them can transform your life. You have the knowledge, the resources, and the determination to succeed. Now go out there and make that happen. So good luck, stay persistent, and remember, thousands of families get cars through these programs every year. There's absolutely no reason that you can't be one of them.